Hello, Cancers. Welcome to Taurus season. You are tuned in to Embodied Astrology. My name is Renee. This is your season ahead horoscope. This is a general reading for Cancer. That means your sun, rising, moon sign in Cancer. Everybody has all 12 signs in their chart, and everyone also has a moon in their chart and a fourth house in their chart, and somewhere Cancer is in your chart. So if you know your chart, you can listen through the lens of any associated placements. And if you are just getting going with your astrology journey, listen for your rising and your sun sign. In Cancer, you're ruled by the moon, so I definitely recommend listening to your moon sign as well. This is a general reading, so take what works and leave the rest. All right, Taurus season, here we go. Cancers, I am looking at your chart, and the first thing that is coming up for me really is the somatic embodiment. I have not started with that for this season's signs so far, but I want to start with that for you. And I'm going to tell you why first. The reason is that Cancer and Taurus have a special relationship, and this is the relationship of nourishment. In our bodies, Cancer rules the stomach and the chest, the breast, the chest tissue. It's co-ruler of the womb with Scorpio. Scorpio is Taurus's opposite sign, and Taurus in the body rules the gate of the mouth and throat. Taurus is a sign that likes to eat, and so does Cancer. And both of your signs really know how important it is to be fed and nourished. And both of your signs also, I would say, tend to hold tension in the places of the body very acutely that register nourishment. And when we are nourished, when we are at ease, our nervous systems feel safe. When our nervous systems feel safe, we tend to be more skillful in relationships. As a sign that has a lot to do with bonding and family and the real true awareness of the necessity for relationships, Cancers, it's great for you when you are regulated and calm in your nervous system, when you are well fed, and when you really have a sense that the people around you are nourished as well, because that means that needs are being met. And when needs are being met, people can show up with their best selves. Now, we are living on planet Earth. It is 2025. Not everybody's needs are met, and definitely everybody's needs are not met all of the time. And whether or not our basic needs are being met, there is also such a deep patterning and programming of scarcity mindset that moves through cultural patterns. And in times of duress and stress, people tend to get really basic about their motivations. And so the feeling of there's not going to be enough, or where do I get the things that I need, where's safety, etc., can definitely be resonating very strongly in the collective current right now, maybe for you or maybe also for the people who are around you. So before we get any further into this horoscope, and I will be talking to you about what I'm feeling coming up for you in Taurus season, I just want to offer you a little bit of somatic guidance. And this is just tuning in with the awareness of the connection or the relationship between Taurus and Cancer in the body. So as I mentioned, Taurus rules the mouth and throat. It definitely has governorship over the jaw and the lower teeth and the jaw joint, which is a place where a lot of people store a lot of stress. Join me right now if you would like, and stretch out your jaw a little bit. You can make a funny face with me. You can open your mouth as wide as you can. Ah. As you open your mouth, maybe you'll yawn a little bit. That yawning opens up around the ear canals. You might even use your fingers and give your temporal mandibular joints a little bit of a rub. And if you don't know where those are, you can just find the area of your cheekbones where your big jaw muscles are and give them a little bit of a rub, and then go up around your cheekbones towards your ears and over your temples. Oh, it feels so good. Relax your jaw. Ugh. If you felt in that invitation like a whoa, I didn't realize my jaw was so tight, this is something you could do for yourself every day. And then I'm going to invite you to bring your hands over your solar plexus area, so kind of where your ribs come together, the soft place in your upper belly. Now, the organ of your stomach is on the left side, the organ of your liver is over on the right side, but we can just kind of let our touch rest around the upper belly. Some people might feel more comfortable taking the hands over the belly button itself. And see if you can actually just breathe into this place in a relaxing way. I was leading a breath meditation in a class that I teach every Mondays. It's called Somatic Space. We work with the astrology of the week ahead through movement and meditation practices. And this last week, I invited folks to find the ease in the breath and really to try and pay attention to where the breath feels easy. Sometimes that's on the exhale. Sometimes that's just for a moment in a little bit of little corner of where you breathe. And a lot of people remarked how difficult it is to feel ease or to pay attention to ease. But after several moments of tuning in with ease in the breath, and that's not trying to do anything to your breathing, it's not trying to make it bigger, better, anything like that. It's just feeling where there can be even a little bit of ease in your breath. After doing that for several minutes, all of us felt considerably more calm and present. So let's just take 2 or 3 more breaths together. And in these couple of breaths, try and relax your jaw, relax your neck and your shoulders, and see if you can just breathe in a way that feels easy. And maybe it's possible to direct your breath into your belly, into the place where your hands are. And in the last breath, if this is possible for you, it's not possible for everyone in every moment. I want to invite you to send a wish into your body, a true prayer into your body, that you have what you need in the times that you need it, and that you're able to notice that you're able to really take in what's good when you have what you need. May you notice it. All right, Cancer, we'll leave that there. If you are a person who enjoys body, mind integration, movement, meditation, visualization, and breathing practices, maybe that's how you found embodied astrology, join me on a Monday sometime in Somatic Space. You can always get the recording if you can't attend live, but I am live on Zoom from 8 to 9:30 Pacific every moon day. And we attune with the astrology of the week ahead through gentle breathing and movement practices. And it's a really wonderful way for me. I love it. Maybe you love it too, to feel really centered and supported going into the week. So I wanted to offer this practice for you because you're a Cancer identified person and we are moving into Taurus season. This is your Taurus season reading. As I already mentioned, Cancer and Taurus share an affinity around their orientation to nourishment and a very embodied awareness that when people have what they need, people can be quite lovely. When we don't have what we need, we can be kind of stressed out, you know? It's not easy to survive on planet Earth. And so getting what we need, getting our needs met, is a primary focus for all of us in our lives. And not everybody needs the same things. But whatever it is that we might feel like we need in a particular moment or phase or lifetime, that's going to take a focus. And as we move into Taurus season, Cancer, your needs are really coming into focus. And I think that a lot of you are feeling activated and mobilized and energized around meeting your needs. So, what do you need? Of course, you have your basic needs, like everybody else. You need food, you need shelter, you need safety, you need relationships, you need places where you can be quiet, right? And have some privacy. And you also need connections with people who let you know that, you know, the world's okay around you to some extent. But you also have some very particular needs. And when I'm tuning in with your chart right now, the feeling that I have very deeply is that you need genuine, authentic, heartfelt connection in your relationships. And in that, you need an element of courage and bravery. And you need that for yourself. And you need that from the people around you because you need to know that you can trust yourself and you need to know that you can trust others. And being trustworthy is a practice and a process, especially in these lifetimes that we have shown up for, because there is so much cultural conditioning for us to not be honest all the time. It can be very frightening to be honest, especially when we're trying to be honest about needs or needs not being met. And so the first thing that's kind of coming up for me as I tune in with your chart for Taurus season is this is a time in your life when you are actually so supported to be bold, to be brave, to be courageous, and to take action around getting your needs met. I feel this especially when it comes to relationships on a big level. And by big level relationships, I mean community. I mean the ways that you feel yourself in general connected with people in the world. And this feels to me like you are interested in being part of and also cultivating communities of care. And care is not always coddling people. It's not always being nice. As you well know, Cancer, sometimes the deepest care is what scares us the most. Sometimes the deepest care is setting a boundary, it's speaking truth to power, it is showing up with accountability, etc. And you are ready for this. I don't know how this is manifesting for you in what relationships specifically. I really feel that it's a kind of global sensation in your chart right now. You are ready for next level relationshiping. You are coming into a time in your life, a major chapter in your life. This is like a 13-year chapter that is very much about embodying a new and different kind of leadership. Now, if you listened to your 2025 year ahead reading from me, I spoke to you a ton about that. And if you haven't listened yet, you can find a link in the show notes. And if you have listened with me, for the last 2 years even, you have heard me talking about a period of leadership that is coming into your life. And we are here. We have arrived. Over the next 13 years, you are in positions of leadership and you are embodying leadership in ways that are going to be oftentimes surprising to you. they we have ideas about something before it comes up, but then when we're actually in the moment, often it's totally a surprise. Like, oh, this is what that horoscope was talking about 10 years ago, or this is what I've been preparing for. I had no idea. Now, the feeling that I have for you is that a lot of the ways that you are leading has to do with relationships. Cancer is an energy that has to bond. Cancer is ruled by the moon. It is a cardinal water sign. Think about what water does. Water bonds. Watch water droplets. They magnetize to each other. Water droplets do not want to be alone. They want to collect. They want to puddle. They want to pool. They want to become lakes, rivers, rivulets, oceans. Water seeks water. We need each other. Being in relationships is sometimes really shitty. Pardon my French. I'm thinking about that wasn't French, but I'm thinking about a friend of mine who actually is French, by the way. And they used to they used to make a joke about when relationships feel challenging, and they'd say you have a bad case of the relationships. You can use that one if you want. So relationships are not always easy. You know this. You don't need me to tell you this. People have rough edges, and a lot of us have a lot of baggage and pain that we're working out, and we are totally different from each other. Even when we look identical almost, people are totally different on the inside. And so figuring out how to get along is an evolutionary project. And Cancerians have a particular kind of investment in this project, whether or not you like it. And Cancers, I know that some days you don't. Some days you are like, I wish that nobody else was here and I just had control of the whole thing and I'd just be good on my own. And then you also know that when people have their needs met, And when people are actively engaged in also meeting their own needs, taking good care of themselves, and helping meet the needs of others, that the experience of really vibrant family and community is kind of as good as it gets on planet Earth. To have the feeling of true belonging is so exquisite. And I think that it is really what most of us are looking for. And whether we look for it through, sex or drugs or making money or proving ourselves or trying to get attention or whatever, a lot of people's motivations that seem actually quite antisocial from the outside, ultimately, if you really tune in on a deep level, they are looking for belonging. Not everybody wants the same kind of family, community, or sense of belonging. And some of us need to feel our continuity and communion with non-humans, probably more deeply, and in many ways more satisfyingly than with humans. But the feeling of, I have a place here and I have something to offer and I am wanted, is so core. It is so deep to our biological mechanisms. Now, you know something about this, Cancers. You know something about this. And I don't know what it is that you know, but you know something deep. And Taurus season in 2025 is asking you to rise to the occasion of what you know and come into a sense of your clear calling in leadership. And a big part of this is you have to trust what you know. You have to be able to trust your body. Now, when do you lose the capacity to trust your body, Cancers? You lose the capacity when you're in scarcity mindset. When your jaw gets tight, when your gut is clenched, when your energy body retracts, when you mistrust people and you feel like you need to go into your little Cancer crabby place, get your claws out. That is when you actually lose connection to your highest sense of intuition and clear leadership, which is not to say you can't have boundaries or you can't want space, but you know the difference between a sense of, I need this boundary, and get away from me, right? And the former can come from a place when you are really connected to your own intuition, whereas the latter comes from a place where it feels like you're threatened. In Taurus season, you are really paying attention to your social landscapes. You are thinking about who you're with and what people have and what people need. You are profoundly and poignantly attuned and empathic in ways that I think may be surprising even to you. You're really connected, because you're a water sign, you're really connected to the resonance and the vibration of people's emotional bodies, and particularly around need. What does somebody need? Are they in a space of need? Do they have what they need? Oh, their needs are being met. The feeling that you have in your nervous system with somebody who is able to kind of regulate themselves and meet their own needs and then meet you in the needs that you have is very different than the feeling that you have with someone who can't meet their own needs, and they have a kind of grasping, or let's say they're shut down from it, or they're kind of unfocused or uncentered about it. We all fluctuate, but you are particularly attuned. And in this season, after all this rambling, what do I want to say, Cancer? I want to say that you are really focused on meeting your own needs right now, but your needs are about honesty, courage, boldness, and coming from the heart, being real about what your needs are. And your needs are to be met with that in turn. And so I want to encourage you throughout this season to ask for that, to be vocal about it, and to offer it also. Now, gosh, your horoscope's going so long. I just rambled on and on with you. Cancer, I love you. The first week and a half or so of Taurus season, we are moving towards a new moon. That new moon is on April 27th. This is a powerful new moon for you to really be calling in the kinds of friendships, community, and social experiences that you want to invest in and cultivate in the future. This is also a powerful new moon for you to be clarifying around, Are certain friendships, associations, or allegiances done for you? Are you not getting your needs met? If that is the case, I highly encourage you to set a boundary, cut the cord, and walk away. All of us on a collective level are really turning the page on some chapters right now. And if things feel done, it's time to finish them. This is not a time to hold on to things out of sentiment or nostalgia. It is a time to be honest about the real possibility of moving forward with things that are feeling stagnant or stuck. And if it doesn't feel like we're going to be moving forward, if there's not a feeling of reciprocity, mutual investment, and follow through, it's time to move on. You know what I'm talking about, okay? So make the meaning that's meaningful for you. As we move towards that new moon, a lot of you are getting really clear about what's working or what's not working. Your boundaries are sacred. If there are places where you feel like you've been giving too much and you need to pull back, listen to that. If there are places where you feel like you need a different kind of container or distance, listen to that. If there are places where you feel like you are ready to take more power and you actually know what you're talking about and what you need, and you have some kind of clear sense of guidance or leadership coming forward, this could be in any area of your life, Cancer, listen to that and make the most of this moment. The world is receptive to you taking leadership right now. And it's not necessarily just going to open the doors and show you where they are. So you have to have the courage and the sense of you have worked for this. You know yourself, you know how to care for these needs. You are ready to walk through that door and then knock on it if it doesn't feel like it's open. But I think that a lot of you are really kind of in a moment right now of moving past some significant barriers and limitations in your own sense of personal agency and power. And don't delay. We need you. You've got what it takes. Let's go. Getting into the month of May, Cancers, you've got a ton of energy, and you have to have a ton of energy. Your life is demanding a lot from you right now. It is demanding your time, your energy, your attention, and your resources. You are motivated to get what you need. You have energy to ask for what you need. And your leadership, which sometimes is you reminding people they can come on, let's go, your leadership is really required and it's really powerful right now. So this sense of leadership that is about leading inside of the group, okay? It's not, I don't think that the best leadership right now is individual, charismatic types of people who want to take up all the space for themselves. That's an old story. It's done and dead. The new kind of leadership that is really going to carry us forward into the future is community leadership. It's collective leadership. And how do we do that? We create conditions where people can come together and meet each other's needs. And therefore, those conditions have to be circumstances that allow for honesty, that help people regulate and co-regulate, work through the challenges of being transparent, vulnerable, and needy, and work through the challenges of retraction or overdoing it, pushing past their own boundaries when encountering other people's needs. There's a lot of retraining and reprogramming that's happening on a collective level right now that is about empowering each other to really be in our own centers and in our own empowerment, and knowing that none of us have all of the answers or all the tools or all the skills or can meet all the needs. So we really deeply need each other. But we also don't need to boss each other around, get in each other's way, shove each other down. And so how we navigate towards something that feels a lot more like collective leadership is going to be trial and error. It's going to be kind of messy sometimes. It could feel chaotic. A lot of you feel like you don't know what the hell you're doing in your positions of leadership. I want to say that. And that could be your family, your workplace, okay, like with your own self, kind of picking up your embodiment and empowerment. So take what works. But I want to say that your intuition is strong. So listen to your intuition. How do you know if it's intuition or ego? How does your jaw feel? How does your stomach feel? When our egos get on blast, our jaws get tight. We're like, I'm going to prove something. I'm going to da 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 da, or we feel insecure and then we collapse and you feel really, clenched or guarded or something like that. So if you have a sense of this is intuitive guidance and you can effectively like relax your jaw, relax your inner body and your belly and breathe and find some ease in your breath, and you can maintain that as your mind starts to click in with your intuition and say, okay, that's the direction, then you can trust that. Moving forward in the month of May, things are accelerating quickly. And this is on a collective level. And I feel like a lot of you are involved in collective spaces, or the spaces that you are involved in that are about groups, communities, social organizations, or friendships are really highlighted right now. You want to do something new in these spaces, or these spaces and these groups are trying to do something new. And that is the way to go. That is the way to go. So this is the time for innovation, disruption, radical action, and rebellion. What is more radical? What is more rebellious in this world in 2025 than slowing down enough to build relationships where we can meet each other's needs and where we can practice being open, transparent, honest about what our needs are, and have the kinds of conversations and discourses that need to happen in order for us to really trust one another. And trust happens when we have a feeling that our needs are going to be met. It sounds simple and basic, and it is anything but that right now. We are working through such thick cultural programming and conditioning to not be vulnerable, to not have needs, to have to like meet every single need for ourselves. And if we can't meet every single needs for ourselves, then we have one person, who's like supposed to do it all for us. That's not the vibe for the future, Cancers. And I think that you know that. I think that there is something about some kind of collective intelligence that you are trying to work with. And if this resonates for you, then this is your reading and you know what I'm talking about. And I just want to say you have got this. Listen to your intuition. If you're not sure about what your intuition is telling you, slow down. Find the ease in your breath and orient to the places where you feel that you are most connected to your truth, and then show up with that and expect others to meet you there. And if they cannot meet you there, they can practice, but they might not be the ones moving forward with you if they don't catch up soon. Okay, so I hope any or all of that feels helpful right now, Cancers. On April 27th, Embodied Astrology is doing an event that I think a lot of you might enjoy. That is the new moon in Taurus, and we have a guest speaker coming in named Care. And Care works a lot with organizations and groups and individuals, particularly around exactly what I've just been talking about: transparency, accountability, makeups, breakups, and working together and doing it through somatic practice and awareness, working with astrology, and also working with radical trust building. So if you're interested, you can find more information in the show notes. Embodied Astrology is a big project. We have study groups, we have classes, we have workshops, we've got all kinds of offerings, and we would love to work with you. You can find more information on everything at embodiedastrology.com. Cancer, if you have felt that this message is helpful for you, please help support and sustain this work by liking it. Send me a comment, let me know what's landing for you, and please share it with a friend. Sharing is the number one way you can help this channel grow. I'm wishing you all the best in Taurus season and beyond. Bye for now.